Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Ann. And we are with you and all in similar situations. I'd like to introduce now Vernice Sanders. Vernice Sanders is a member of the Minnesota Tenants Union. She is a longtime friend of Rosemary Williams, lives on Clinton Avenue, and has been part of this struggle for many months as well. Vernice, I'd like you to fire up the crowd a little bit more even. Okay, here we go. Vernice.
Thank you. This neighborhood has been stable because of Rosemary. She's a safe house that they can come to. Minnesota Tenants Union has been trying to help, one of the services that helps her stay there. We've maintained. So if you need help, go to Minnesota Tenants Union and all these other agencies, Paper and Women's Rights Committee. They're here. They're for you. Stop. Fight back. We are against foreclosures. Come out and help us fight the banks.
All right. It is so important that we're fighting, and now I would like to introduce someone else who is fighting. Just this week, Linda Norenberg, who lives in Robbinsdale, has announced that she is planning to stay in her home. Linda Norenberg.
Hi. Rosemary inspired me. I read about her starting last spring, I guess it was, and I bought my house 12 and a half years ago. It's the house I grew up in, the house my father built in 1944. He purchased the property in 1938. You don't think I want to stay in the house? I want to. This was my dream come true. I moved my children and my grandchildren in. Hopefully my daughter could help with the mortgage. They're not talking with me anymore. I've been given the runaround for 2 years now. Mine was through Chase. But it's the same thing. They got something, they don't want us to have it. We want to keep it, we want to stay in like Rosemary and everybody else who deserves to have a home, for crying out loud. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Linda. The banks got bailed out, people got sold out. Stop foreclosures now. Banks got bailed out, people got sold out. Stop foreclosures now. Now I would like to introduce a long-time fighter around housing issues, Sherry Honkel of the Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign.
You know, I wasn't going to speak today, but this stuff is very personal to me because that young woman over there, that's my sister. And so, just generally I get involved in housing issues, but I know what it's like to almost freeze to death on the streets of the Twin Cities with my little kid. And now all these years later, I'm watching my sister beg Wells Fargo to renegotiate her loan, and they're not coming to the table, and I'm not going to stand by quietly and watch her hit the streets with my nieces. So this is not just some, larger theoretical, like stop the foreclosure stuff. Rosemary is real, Linda is real, and my sister Ann is real. And so no, we can't wait until Linda is being thrown out onto the streets and we're all being told, like, let's rush over there and take the boards off. We have to be on the list right now so that we can go out and fill up her home once she gets the notices. And damn it, let's not wait until my sister gets one of those notices. Let's get together, let's call over and over again and demand that they come to the table with Ann Patterson to renegotiate her loan now. Because she's not at all behind in her payments. She wants to try to not get to the situation that Rosemary got to, or that Linda is in right now. And so let's demand that they come to the table now for all three of them. Rosemary has inspired all of us, but let's also make sure that we simultaneously, as I know Rosemary has said every single time she's talked, let's also make sure that Linda stays in her home and that Ann stays in her home and every other single mother and child stays in their home here in the Twin Cities. Thank you.
They say foreclosure, we say fight back. They say foreclosure, we say a struggle that's been taken up by the entire community in the Twin Cities. And I would like to introduce our next speaker, Mary Bedouin, a volunteer with Women Against Military Madness.
The bitter irony of this situation is that while we're bailing out the banks in their homes, our government has been spending money destroying people's homes in Iraq and Afghanistan, busting in the doors, coming in the roofs, bombing them, and smashing up their property in search of what they call suspected insurgents.
Killing women and children.
Exactly, killing women and children and men, everyone. To date, $915 billion have been allocated to the end of this year for the wars on Iraq and Afghanistan. And by next year, it will be $1 trillion that we'll be spending for those wars while we're bailing out banks. My son-in-law, this is something my son-in-law doesn't understand because he's from Mexico. And in the Mexican Constitution, everyone is guaranteed a home. There's no shame to it. The government guarantees homes to everyone.
Yeah.
Well, and I just want to say a conclusion. 3 weeks ago, this is personal for everyone. Yes, 3 weeks ago, I was woken up to the police with loaded guns right across the street from my house and a SWAT team. They busted in the door. My neighbor had committed suicide. He called them saying he had a gun. A friend of his said he didn't want to end up living under a bridge. So the police said, told my family, well, now you're safe. But I'm wondering, who among us, what family is safe? Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. The next speaker is from the Iraq Peace Action Coalition, again indicating the breadth of the support that has been coming together around bread and butter issues such as foreclosures. They say foreclosures, we say fight back. They say foreclosures, we say fight back. They say foreclosures, we say fight back. Today, I introduce to you Sarah Martin, a longtime freedom fighter here in the Twin Cities. Sarah.
Hi, everybody. It was just exactly 2 weeks ago that Karen Sullivan, Katrina Platts over there, and I were being evicted from Israel. We were there on a human rights delegation to witness the reality of the horrible Israeli occupation, including that very week the demolition and eviction of 50 Palestinian families in Jerusalem. So this is worldwide and with our tax dollars, unfortunately. Now, we resisted that eviction for a while. The only reason we could is because of the likes of you. You all came forward. It was a Sunday. The email went out. You answered that email by the hundreds, by the thousands, made the calls and sent the messages to the right authorities. And we made a stir. We made a stir here in the media, and I'm sure we made a stir in Israel also. So I know kind of firsthand. I can't begin to compare myself to Steph's hero, Rosemary, all our heroes. But the importance of us being involved in this struggle cannot be overstated.